me about them, but you can't come in. Woo! Speedy one, aren't you? Which means getting your food out is going to be a trick. It's going to be one trick. Let's leave that there. You gotta hang on for me, mouse. You gotta hang on, sweetie. Because Daddy put that in the wrong place. So I do this. Come here. A couple of folks were asking what happened with Peekaboo's ear. This is Mouse. This is not Peekaboo. Peekaboo is our 2-year-old, 3-year-old squirrel that lives on the porch, and she got an injury to her ear years ago. That's hard to say. Years ago. A little piercing, and since believe that she had gotten into an itching fit and accidentally hooked that piercing and accidentally widened it, and thus injuring herself a little more. So now she's a left split ear. Everything is healed. The bruising is almost all gone. She's been very well cleaned. And speaking of which, somebody asked, how do squirrels clean their ears? Like a dog or a cat, they will scratch at it and then lick their paws and scratch and lick their paws, and they'll brush it against something. And then in the wild, although they're solitary creatures, they do clan up and make friends and will groom each other. And like the triplets here, it sounds like they're beating each other with chainsaws. But when you look in there, there'll be 2 of them holding the other down and grooming it like it's a pit stop. And in the wild, you'll see other squirrels grooming each other, playing. And so I am Peekaboo's cleaning and playmate. And anytime she gets an injury like that, I take care of it. But more than that, I will clean her as well. Just warm water, paper towels, hypoallergenic baby wipes I use on them when they get really good and dirty. But when Peekaboo's dirty, she knows, and she will let me do a deep clean on her. Like when she injured her ear, she sat on a ledge and let me clean all of the fur surrounding it. Oh, girl, you are cranking. Oh, I'm sorry. I just shouldn't have jinxed it. But you gotta stand still if you want to eat. Alright, let's do some cleanup while you're on the move. Well, it can't be the formula because I just made this last night. I just made it last night. Come on. Hi. Would you like to try again? Oh, you see tonight's dinner cans, huh? Daddy has to get milk. Now, come here. Can I clean your face? You betcha. That's never gonna happen, huh? Yes, huh? See? You clean your face? Can you clean your face? Come here. There was a story on the news yesterday about, I think it's in California, that these folks are getting attacked by rabid squirrels. First, nothing is impossible, so you can't say nothing can get nothing. Case in point, it is often said squirrels cannot get rabies. They can. Anything living can get rabies, I believe. Anything mammalian, at least. But squirrels are very resistant to rabies. They've got special enzymes. I don't even know how it works. But I do know I've been told by experts, professionals, scientists, have read the literature that squirrels are very resistant to rabies and unlikely to catch or transmit. So, the headline out of California is that this neighborhood is being terrorized by a squirrel or some squirrels. But the way that they're talking about the squirrel's behavior is they are the intruder. One lady said that the squirrel was chewing on the wood of her fence, so it must have been hungry. They don't eat wood, they chew wood. And it started barking at her, so her husband swung a hat at it and might have hit it, and so it jumped at it. Well, of course, if you attack anything unexpectedly, if it's a wild animal, it's likely to jump back at you, and you can't blame it for defending itself. And then there's another lady that there was a squirrel that ran up her leg, and she tried to shake it off. It ran back up her leg. Those squirrels are all either afraid or they're looking for something, and you've surprised them. Maybe their babies are nearby. Who knows? But we are the intruders, always. So to say that we're in somebody else's environment and they're behaving aggressively towards us, they have a problem, does not mean they have rabies. It means stay out of their trees. It was two folks higher in years that, of course, something moving like this would scare you if you can't get away or move very fast or you're inherently afraid. But squirrels will not attack you unless you give them a reason to. There's just nothing benefit for them to go out of their way and possibly injure themselves just for kicks. So, yeah, there's a lot of cases in the news about squirrels, more than I would have ever thought was reasonable. But over time, they do pop up, and of course, I've got a point of view on all of that, but that's up to the folks who are in the news stories to tell. Right? I don't think you're going to eat anywhere. I think you've been stalling long enough. So back to cleaning. When they're pinkies, it's my job. I keep them warm. I keep them clean. I use warm water and keep them dry. And squirrels are self-cleaning. They don't need baths unless they're overly dirty or they're flea-ridden or fly-struck or something like that. You find them sometimes in some pretty harrowing situations, but my first experience with a squirrel ever was when I was doing a law enforcement gig in the Midwest, and somebody calls and says, "There's a rabid squirrel in our yard chasing our kids. Somebody needs to come take care of it." And of course you hear rabies, and you're like, "All right, we'll take care of it." Go there, and it's a squirrel about half the size of this one that they have under a laundry basket. And so I think, all right, let's see what's going on under here. And I look, and it's this baby squirrel just shivering and piled into a little ball in the corner. And so I lift up the corner of the hamper laundry basket, and this little squirrel just crawls right up onto my boot and sits there. And I didn't know anything about squirrels at that point. We had an animal control person for that. Useless. That was not a person, not a position that anybody who knew anything about animals regularly got at that time. So she just told me, take it back to the wood line and put it on a tree and see if it climbs up. Eyes open, ears unpinned, very fluffy. I would say it was about, now that I know, it was about 2.5 months old. So about 10 weeks. So likely it had fallen out of a tree overhead or lost mommy and wandered too far from the base. But it was certainly not a rabbit squirrel. It was a scared baby. And the second time, if you've never seen the video by Ray Stevens, the what is it, Mississippi Squirrel Revival, once you see that video, you'll understand what it was like when I got a call to somebody's kitchen that a squirrel had come through the ceiling into the house, and everybody was freaking out, running all over the kitchen, screaming. Squirrel was doing basically this, but off of everybody's face, head, running through between the chairs, the whole 9 yards. And we were there for at least 2 hours. But every comedy you've ever seen about somebody saw a rat or a squirrel or a mouse, or that Mississippi Squirrel Revival, Pascagoula, that was us. We were the Keystone morons of animal control that day. Anyway, opened the window. The squirrel, smarter than all of us, took off. Right? Because you are all smarter than we are. If you want to know about squirrels, you must watch the Rick and Morty episode about the squirrels. That will tell you everything that's really going on in the whole world. Okay, you say bye? Have a good day. See you then.